TPO ban explained. What gel nail polish users need to know. I want to introduce Lysa Comfort. Lysa Comfort is the director, founder of INJA, International Nail Judges Association. She's also Nail Olympian's competition founder, creative producer of the Nailed It TV show. She's been in the industry for 40 years. Welcome, Lysa.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, we've been talking to each other for several months now, but we've never actually met, so I'm so glad to meet you finally in person.
Absolutely. Pleasure for me as well.
And I also want to introduce Liz Morris. She's a licensed nail pro, educator, and the founder behind the Nail Hub and Attain Cosmetics. She's known for her mission to make gel nails safer and smarter for everyone. Welcome, Liz. Okay, ladies, what is TPO?
So TPO is a photo initiator, and it's a very technical word for basically the part of our nail formulas that are sensitive to UV light. So that's the part that gets activated when we put our hand in our lamp to cure our gel nails. And there's a specific type of photo initiator. This powder format of TPO has been banned by the EU in the use of in cosmetics starting on September 1st.
They did this fast, which is scaring a lot of people because nail technicians stock up their product, especially just before the season coming of fall and Halloween and Christmas. And this is in gel polish, so they've actually banned gel polish. Now, Lysa, you work a lot over there in the EU. What can you tell us what's going on over there? What are they thinking?
Unfortunately, a lot of them were not well prepared. A lot of them are really upset about the fact that they weren't given any opportunity to prepare for it. They're not receiving enough information to really be able to provide educated knowledge back to their own customers. This is not an easy problem for the nail professionals to get around.
No, and you know what? As nail professionals ourselves, if there's something going on, we want to know. Now, TPO, to my knowledge, has been around and in these products for many years. Why all of a sudden is this become such an issue?
Yeah. TPO is actually, it has origins in the dental industry, and it's still used in dental acrylic, like the kind used for fillings. And we've been using TPO in nail products for decades without any issue. What's interesting about this whole entire conversation is that even the EU had approved TPO use up to 5% in gel nail products, even as far back as 2020. It was just this recent change of them trying to find the source of what might be these chemicals that are instigating some issues when it comes to cosmetic products. So they started kind of doing some digging. There were some very interesting studies done where they just fed animals extreme amounts of TPO to try and see if there was any adverse reaction found. And basically, if I'll give you guys some rough numbers, they've essentially fed rats and hedgehogs about the equivalent of 7 full bottles of gel polish worth of TPO a day to see what would happen and what those results might be. What they found was that in these male animals, they had impotence and they had reproductive issues with the actual male animals in the studies. But there's a lot of frustration felt by all types of nail product users right now because of this surprise factor, because of the fear being created by the media around this topic, as well as just there's not enough data when it comes to humans and how this actually is or is not an issue.
Wow, that's it's almost like the study is really not fair because, I mean, water is good for us, but if we drown ourselves in it, it's dangerous. It's life-threatening, obviously. It can hurt us. So I guess it's really not an issue then? It's just because of the study, the way it's done, is feeling like it's an issue?
I've been in this industry, as you have, for like 40 years. So this is not our first run-in with chemical scares and chemical issues.
So true.
We have a lot of really respected people in our community like Doug Schoon and many other members in the EU that are stepping up and creating an argument.
Yeah, there's really no large-scale human studies that have been done, and that's also why people need to know why other countries aren't immediately following suit. A lot of times when there's a lot of this sensationalized safety conversation, a lot of people freak out and go, why aren't we also following? What's dangerous about this? I need to know more information because I want to protect myself. And What I would recommend personally, if I was
Yep.
going to tell someone my personal advice, whether you're a consumer who's just doing your own nails or if you're, a salon owner, nail technician, professional, I would follow whatever laws are currently in place for your area, but instead of disposing of your product right away, I would actually put that stuff in storage because I have a feeling that this is not the end all be all decision on this conversation, and I don't want people to go through the exercise of throwing everything away only for this to get reversed in a few months.
Well, it's true, Liz, because when I think about it, if I look at all my gel polish when I was running a salon, I've got like an inventory of $5,000 worth of gel polish and up.
Yes,
I've got Christmas
easily.
coming and all the seasons. I can afford to throw it away, but I will recommend if you're going to buy new polish, buy within the season going forward. Like I think Liz comes up with a great idea, put it in storage, but then buy gel polish if you know it's got no TPO in it, and then you can use it until maybe this does turn around. I never even thought of that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't be hasty about, what you're going to do with your current inventory because I do think we need to take some time to figure out what this is. And the other reason why I bring that up is because this is a very technical ban. So it is specifically banning TPO powder. And most consumers, I would say, aren't really able to discern what type of TPO is in their product or if TPO is in
very
their
true.
product just by looking at the package of the bottle. I would actually reach out to your manufacturer that you purchased the product from if possible. Ask some questions first before making any rash decisions because TPOL, which is the liquid format of TPO, is not banned. And then there's lots of other chemical names that look similar to TPO, but they're actually TPO alternatives that are not banned either. So I wouldn't be hasty right now. That's my personal advice.
And don't feel uncomfortable reaching out to the manufacturer because this is a hot topic and they will be getting a lot of questions. I'm sure they are ready and armed with be able to answer the questions for you. So that's not really a problem.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's really important for people to also, I've seen some responses on social media, especially about, this kind of coming out of left field. And a lot of people saying, why weren't people telling us, why weren't manufacturers doing anything about this or why weren't brands prepared for this? And actually, I wanted to just let people know that there are a lot of brands that were well prepared for this and have actually been introducing alternatives to TPO, a year or a year and a half even before this ban went into place. And they're being responsible about the formulation and the manufacturing, but they also don't want to get out too far in front of things and scare people about something that hasn't really happened yet. So I feel like there's kind of this give and take we need to kind of go through to let things ride a little bit and then figure out how are we actually ultimately going to move forward as an industry.
I think that's very good advice. I'm so glad I asked you two ladies about it. Do you have anything you wanted to add about that, Lisa?
I think that it's important in the mention of the fact that there's a lot of chemicals that are very similar to each other, that we should definitely write down what exactly the terminology of what TPO means, because we should also make sure that they know when they go on the back of their own bottles to see if the ingredient is there, it won't read out as TPO. It's going to read out as the actual long ingredient. And so many people might turn around their ingredients and go, oh, it doesn't say TPO. Well, it does say the actual ingredient name, which is a long one.
We'll probably put it on a name key because I've seen people talking about it. They can't even pronounce it. Liz, do you know how to pronounce it?
Yeah, it's trimethyl benzoyl diphenyl phosphine oxide is the full chemical name. And what's complicated about chemical names like this listed on SDS or on bottles is that you can have the bis format of that. So you can have BAPO. It looks similar, but it's got a little bis in front of it. And then there's also TPOL, which is that liquid format as well. So like I said, it's best to, request an SDS from your manufacturers. That's always really important to have that information from them. But reach out to them and ask them if, in fact, the products contain this banned format of TPO, because they should be able to answer that for you.
So if we take TPO out, what are we losing?
We are losing performance. We're losing the opportunity to work with pigments that are a little bit thicker and more well dispersed, making the application look a little bit more beautiful. We're going and rolling back a little bit to when gel polish, as soak-off gel polish was first coming onto the market. We're starting to just see that we're having more of an inhibition layer where we're going to have to eliminate more because the curing isn't quite the same. Liz, could you add to that?
Yeah. TPO is what we have found through decades of using different photo initiators and gel nail products. One of the other typical ones is called HCPK, not to get too complicated. But that's right. When we first started with gel nail products, they had to be very thin in opacity. They had to go in multiple coats. And it also took 3 to 5 minutes to cure them in a traditional CFL nail lamp. TPO is actually the photo initiator that really helped us move into LED technology, allowed us to add more pigments to our gels so we get those really black blacks and those really white whites. And the cure depth, when we are able to actually use photo initiators like TPO, the light is able to penetrate that much better into the product. So we get better curing, more opacity, faster cure times, and less yellowing as well. TPO is a very low yellowing photo initiator, so you don't have to add those kind of purpley tints to get your white to turn out white. And our top coats don't yellow with things like TPO. So it is something that we want to keep around for sure.
Yeah, we really don't want to lose it. And if the study is done incorrectly, I'd like the study to be done properly to see if it does fall out that we do need to get rid of it or if we can keep it. Well, I hope that helps to understand a little bit more about TPO and what you should be able to do with it or how to deal with it and how to navigate this. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate your expertise and I'm so glad to know you both.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, ladies. I'll talk to you soon on the next video.